I will show you sample meals to help you lose weight. And if you are over 40 years, I would urge you to please invest in two things. You might be able to detect a disease. So as you embark on your weight loss journey, I'd like you to remember that you did not gain weight in a day, a week, or a month. I'm sure it took years, maybe in a few cases months, but mostly years or even decades. Please understand the process of losing weight will probably take many months or years. And before we proceed, please remember I'm not a medical doctor or a healthcare provider. I'm just sharing my own experience, opinion, and findings from my research. So, as you begin on your weight loss journey, I would say start where you are. And the first important R that you need to implement, that is record. Recording is an important strategy because it will show you where you are coming from. So what can you record? There are a number of different things you can record. Of course, the first one that comes to your mind is your weight. You can do this using a scale and use what you have. If you have a bathroom scale, use it. If you have access to a gym or training place with a scale, use, or maybe at a nearby medical facility. Just make sure as you begin, you record. The next important measurement you need to record is your size. What do I mean by your size? As you lose weight, you'll grow smaller. So you need to also know how much you've lost or gained. The most critical measurement for you to take is the diameter of your waist or your waist size. This is critical because it can even predict whether you're a candidate who will get diabetes or other lifestyle diseases. So measure your waist at the smallest point and also measure it at the largest point. In addition to the waist and the tummy, also measure your chest, hips, and arm diameter. So this is the humble tape measure. You can get it in a tailoring shop or any other shop that sells DIY gadgets. And you can use it to measure the waist or any other body part. You can use inches or you can use centimeters. The third thing you should record is your glucose or sugar status. This you can use a sugar measuring machine, which you can buy one in most parts of the world, or where I am, they cost $15 to $20. Or you can have your glucose measured at a local chemist or pharmacy or drugstore. Then the glucose machine can measure both the fasting and the random sugar. So this is a glucometer and it has two components. I don't know what this is called. And this one which does the actual measuring, and you have to buy with the respective strips. Every manufacturer has their own strips. So you put the strip there. It's checking. When you see that, it's asking you give it the blood. So once you are sure your hands are clean, you will put your drop of blood there. So this is 6.2, about 2 hours after my lunch. Ideally, it needs to come down a bit more to below 5 before I take the next meal. However, there is a third sugar test or sugar recording that you need to do. This one is available at mostly hospitals. This one you cannot do at home or chemist or pharmacy. So you will get the HbA1c test at a hospital. And it's important you take this at the beginning of your journey because it will show you how far you've come in terms of how much sugar is sticking to your blood cells and your other body organs. The fourth thing you should measure is your blood pressure. And this you should do in the morning and in the evening before you become active and as you wind down. And it will give you an indication of where you are.
Ready. So this is our blood pressure measuring machine, which you can actually have in your own home, and you can buy it without a prescription from a chemist, a pharmacy, or a drugstore. So it has two components which you need to put together. We have this part, and then we have this part. And then it's important when you wear this part, this arrow here is on top of your vein so that you can measure correctly. So now I'm going to show you how you put it on. Before that, I'll join it together. Then I'll make it a bit tight, but not too tight. Now I'll put it on and wait. So the top one is the systolic pressure, that's 127. The diastolic pressure is 84. And ideal pressure is 120/80. So I'm just slightly above the ideal, but I'll keep an eye and monitor. Should you find that the pressure is rising, please see your medical service provider.
Where you are. Then record, number 5, your exercise. How many meters do you walk? Do you walk 5 meters? Do you walk 5 kilometers? Do you do any gym sessions? And recording does not have to be fancy. You can record this in a book, as I have done. You can record this in a spreadsheet on the computer, but also remember computers can crash. Or you can use an app, a computer application package, to record and monitor all these parameters that we've talked about. So where am I on this recording strategy? I have been recording my parameters since 2021. As we make this video, it is 2025. I must be honest, I recorded faithfully 2021, 22, 23, and then fell off in 2024, but now I'm back to recording in 2025. Please join me in keeping a record of where you are. So how often should you record? Personally, recording my weight once a month is enough, in my opinion. Because when you become obsessed with weight, you may even become paranoid or sick. Also, checking my size, like the changes in the waist size, once in a month is adequate. For a start, for sugar, I would say measure several times a day or minimum daily. But as you stabilize and get into a rhythm, you can scale this down. I check my sugar 2 to 3 times a week. For blood pressure, once you stabilize, I would say minimum once a week, but as often as twice a day for the beginning. For the sugar test, HbA1c, it can only detect changes after 3 months. So it does not make economic sense for you to do it more often than 3 months. So for a start, check your HbA1c every 3 months. And once you stabilize, once in 6 months is enough. I now check my HbA1c once in 6 months. My last check was in December 2024. I'll probably check again in June of 2025. A normal HbA1c is 5.6, while 5.7 to 6.4 is pre-diabetic or pre-diabetes state. Anything greater than 6.5 is considered diabetic. The fasting sugar, which you can check at home, should generally be below 5.5. So when you wake up in the morning, your glucose or your sugar levels should be below 5.5. Once it reaches 5.6, you need to make changes in your lifestyle. That is the way you eat and exercise to bring it down. If it goes to anything greater than 7, then you have entered the diabetic range. To ensure that my home gadgets or whatever I use at home for measuring is still within the range, I also check my sugar and blood pressure at the neighborhood clinic, like once in 3 months. And I check in a referral hospital, that is either a national hospital or a university teaching hospital, at least once a year. So it is important as you take these measurements, you record them. So if you're finding this information useful, please subscribe to this channel and also share with somebody so that more people can benefit from this information. And if you are over 40 years, I would urge you to please invest in 2 things. The glucometer, which measures sugar and does tests you can do at home, and the blood pressure machine, which monitors your blood pressure. It's important that you know how to use this equipment or gadgets correctly. So you can ask the pharmacist who sells to you to show you how, or you can request your healthcare provider or nurse to teach you how to correctly use these 2 machines. They're affordable. They may sound a little expensive. $20 or $30 could save your life. The second strategy that will enable you achieve lasting weight loss is to review your data. So the information you collect on a day-to-day, weekly, or monthly basis, you should periodically review it. For example, I review my data for blood pressure and sugar like once a month, and less often for other parameters. For example, it is enough to review the changes in the size of your waist or your weight once in 3 months. So why do you need to review? This will help you determine if the approaches you are using are working. And you'll soon know what is effective and whether you are making progress or not. And I urge you to educate yourself on what the statistics mean. There's a lot of information on Google, and if you want more authentic information, you can check for the information on Google Scholar, that is peer-reviewed information. If you're a bit lazy, there are many doctors on YouTube who explain this, and they've digested it for you. For example, when I review data, I have found that whenever sugar is high, I don't lose weight. If, for example, for 2 weeks, my fasting sugar is below 5.5, I might even lose a pound. However, if my fasting sugar is over 6.0, I'll not lose weight. And if persistently it goes to near 6.5, I will even gain weight. One of the advantages of reviewing your data, you might be able to detect a disease early enough before it gets serious. For example, at your annual checkup, you could go with your readings you show your doctor. Then this way, he or she can look at the pattern and may be able to detect something that you cannot. And also, don't be limited to the scale. You might not lose weight on the scale, but if you lose inches from your waist, you are making progress. So be encouraged. So the third strategy to help you lose weight, that is R3, is revise. For example, revise what you are doing. It means make changes to your current status. If it is diet, what do you need to remove, reduce? You need to review your portions. Should you increase the portion of your starch or reduce? So reviewing and then revising will help you to make changes to the portions of food on your plate. It can also help you make changes to your exercise. For example, if last week you were walking, or the last 2 months you've been walking 1 kilometer and it's not helping, you can now revise and target to walk 2 kilometers or 3. Or if you are lifting weights in the gym, maybe you can increase the amount of weight you are lifting or the number of reps. So once you revise, I would advise that you wait another cycle. That is, you allow another cycle of record, review, revise, and then you revise again. So this is a cyclic process, and the 3 R's stand for the 3 important strategies of achieving weight loss. That is record, review, revise. You do these things, you'll be on track and you'll keep your weight in check. Remember, what gets measured gets done. So invest in the process and weight loss will happen. Next week, I will show you sample meals to help you lose weight. These meals will be according to my life-changing 5-point scale diet for weight loss. See you in that video.